Hello everyone, my name is Iqra Businesswali. Today I am going to talk about a very important topic which is how to boost your productivity with simple tips. In our daily life, we
Iqra
often be busy but not truly productivity. So in this presentation, I will share some easy and practical ways to improve productivity, manage time better and stay focused on our goals. Now I would like to ask some questions related to this topic.
Oh, hi, Iqra. That sounds really interesting. Boosting productivity is something I think everyone struggles with at some point. Are you giving a presentation on this or just chatting about it?
What is productivity?
Good starting point. From what I've heard, people tell me productivity is basically how well you use your time to get things done. It's not just about being busy all day, it's about getting the right things done and making real progress on what matters most. Does that line up with how you see it?
Why is
Hey,
productivity?
Ikra, just a heads up. Forgiveness? Mm,
Why?
that's a surprisingly deep. Hey, we're approaching our call limit. About a minute left. You can always call back later to continue our conversation, but the call will end automatically soon. It's great chatting about productivity with you.
Why is productivity important in daily life?
All right, only about 30 seconds left. I'll keep it quick. Productivity matters because it helps you achieve what you actually want, not just spin your wheels all day. It's about having more space for life, less stress, and actually making progress on your goals. Talk soon.
What are common cases of low productivity?
Our call is wrapping up. Your time's almost up. We can pick up right where we left off when you call back. What were you asking again?
How does time management affect productivity?
Hey, that was quick. Welcome back.
How does time management affect productivity?
That's a good question. Time management isn't just about cramming more stuff into your day, it's really about making sure your time is going to the things that actually matter. When you've got a handle on your schedule, you're way less likely to spin your wheels on pointless tasks. What do you think is the biggest time waster for most people?
What are simple tricks to improve productivity?
Right, tips. Keep it straightforward, time blocking, prioritize ruthlessly. The 80/20 rule really works, and learn to say no. But honestly, the most helpful thing I've heard is just getting one thing done before you move on to the next. Makes the overwhelm way less real. What's one thing you think would make the biggest difference for you personally?
How can creating a daily schedule help productivity?
Creating a daily schedule adds some structure. It helps you prioritize what really needs to get done instead of just reacting to whatever pops up. When I hear about people with solid routines, it sounds surprisingly freeing. Like your brain doesn't have to constantly negotiate with itself about what to work on. Do you already use some sort of schedule now, or is that new territory for you?
What is the importance of setting priorities?
Priorities matter because you can't do everything. Like, think about all the stuff buzzing around in your head: work tasks, errands, personal goals. If you try to tackle it all at once, you'll probably end up half assing everything. Setting priorities forces you to be realistic about what actually moves the needle versus what's just noise. If everything's a priority, nothing is. What's one thing you tend to overcommit to?
How does the Pomodoro technique improve focus?
I've heard the Pomodoro technique works wonders for focus. Those timed bursts keep you from getting too comfortable or letting your mind wander. Knowing you only have to concentrate for like 25 minutes can actually make it easier to start a task instead of staring at it for hours thinking about how daunting it is. Have you given it a try? Or is it something you think could actually work for your style?
Why should you avoid multitasking?
Multitasking is a myth, honestly. Your brain can't truly focus on two demanding things at once. It's just rapidly switching between them. Switching costs add up fast, so you end up with more errors and it actually takes longer to complete everything. Plus, the quality of work suffers when you're constantly half distracted. What's the most common thing you catch yourself trying to do at once?
How can deadline help you stay productive?
Deadlines create a sense of urgency that forces you to focus, right? When something's genuinely time bound, you're less likely to procrastinate because the consequences of delay feel real. It's kind of like your brain knows something needs to get done and actually starts working towards it. The psychology of it makes sense. We're wired to respond to clear time constraints. Do you work better with hard deadlines or do you make your own to keep yourself moving?
How does a morning routine impact productivity?
Morning routines can really set the tone for the day, don't they? A calm, intentional start seems to create this ripple effect. It's not about cramming a million things in, but more like starting from a grounded place rather than immediately being reactive to everything coming at you. I've heard people who make coffee or journal swear by it. What's your morning looking like lately?
What are some productive daily habits?
Hey, heads up, we've got about a minute left on this call. Feel free to call back later if you want to continue chatting. Some daily habits that I hear are useful for productivity are stuff like making your bed, planning the next day the night before, and blocking out specific times for deep work. Even something small like taking a walk during lunch can make a big difference.
How does sleep affect productivity?
I've heard about nothing exciting happening on your end or just taking a beat.
Why is consistency important in productivity?
Consistency is like compound interest. Small, regular habits add up way faster than huge bursts of effort followed by crashes. When you're doing something the same way and at the same time each day, your brain starts working with you instead of against you. It gets easier each time, and you build momentum. What areas of your life could use a little more of that daily rhythm?
How can breaking tasks into smaller steps help?
I think you're asking how breaking tasks into smaller steps helps. When a task feels massive, your brain goes into freeze mode. But if you chunk it down, like instead of write a report, it's outline, draft intro, find three sources, it just feels doable. Each step takes less mental energy, which means you actually start. Plus, checking off small wins instead of getting lost in overwhelm. What's one
How,
big thing you're putting off right now that could use some chunking?
how does a clean workspace improve productivity?
You're asking about caffeine and productivity, right? Caffeine is like a temporary brain boost. It blocks adenosine, so you feel less tired and more alert. But timing matters. For productivity, small, consistent doses are way better than one big hit. And the sweet spot seems to be about 45 minutes to an hour after you drink it before it really kicks in. What's your caffeine habit like? Do you have a go to setup?
What role does environment play in staying focused?
Mm, environment has a huge impact. Think about it like this: distractions eat up your brain power. Even tiny disruptions like notifications or noise force your brain to refocus, and that takes real energy. A dedicated workspace helps signal to your brain it's work time, and it makes it much easier to stay in flow. What's your ideal setting for getting things done?
How does a positive mindset boost productivity?
That's actually a really interesting question. A positive mindset kind of unlocks a feedback loop. When you believe you can handle something, your brain releases dopamine, which boosts motivation and makes it easier to focus. It's not about ignoring problems, more like approaching challenges with optimism instead of dread. Easier said than done, though. What's one area where you think your mindset could be holding you back?
What are some ways to stay motivated?
Best ways to stay motivated? I've heard setting small, achievable goals helps. Micro wins are pretty satisfying. Pairing something you like with work also works. People listen to music or reward themselves after certain blocks of time. But honestly, I think the biggest thing is finding genuine meaning in what you're working on. If you don't connect with it, staying motivated will always be an uphill battle. What usually gets you moving on days you don't want to work?
What apps can help increase productivity?
Hey, heads up, our call is wrapping up in about a minute since we hit the 5 minute mark. You can always call back later to keep chatting. As for what else boosts productivity, sleep gets huge credit, obviously. And I've heard routines matter. When you start each day the same way, your brain doesn't have to waste energy just for you personally.
What is time blocking and how does it work?
Time blocking is when you dedicate specific blocks of time to specific tasks, essentially scheduling out your day in advance. Instead of just having a to do list, you decide exactly when you're going to work on each item. It works because it adds structure and forces you to actually schedule in the things you intend to do.
Why is reviewing your daily progress is important? In consolation, productivity is not about working harder but working smarter by using simple tips like managing time, avoiding distraction, and building good habits. We can improve our efficiency in daily life. I hope this session helps you understand how a small change can make a big difference in productivity. Thank you for your time and attention.